What if I told you there's a planet in our own solar system where a single day lasts longer than an entire year? A planet that spins backward compared to almost every other world orbiting the sun? A planet so hot it beats Mercury, even though Mercury sits far closer to the sun? And here's the darkest question of all, a question scientists are still trying to answer. Did this planet once look just like Earth before something turned it into a living nightmare? This is Venus, the second planet from the sun, the brightest object in our night sky after the moon, and quite possibly the most dangerous place a human being could ever try to stand. Today, we're breaking down the strangest, most bizarre, most unbelievable facts about Venus. And by the end, you'll understand why some scientists believe this glowing evening star isn't just a curiosity. It might be a warning. Let's start with something that sounds almost impossible. On Venus, one full rotation on its axis, what we'd call a day, takes about 243 Earth days. But Venus only takes about 225 Earth days to complete one full orbit around the sun. That means on Venus, a single day is longer than its entire year. If you woke up on Venus in the morning, you could celebrate your birthday before the sun even finished setting. Almost every planet in our solar system spins in the same direction, counterclockwise when viewed from above the sun's north pole. Venus doesn't follow that rule. It rotates in the opposite direction, a phenomenon scientists call retrograde rotation. This means that if you could somehow stand on the surface of Venus and watch the sky, the sun would rise in the west and set in the east, the exact opposite of what we experience on Earth. Why does this happen? The leading theory points to a massive ancient collision that may have flipped Venus's spin entirely, or a slow gravitational tug-of-war with the sun over billions of years. Either way, Venus marches to its own rhythm. Here's a fact that surprises almost everyone. Mercury sits closest to the sun, so it should be the hottest planet, right? Wrong. Venus's surface temperature averages around 465 degrees Celsius, or roughly 870 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. Mercury, despite being closer to the sun, has no real atmosphere to trap heat, so its temperature swings wildly and actually drops far lower at night. Venus, on the other hand, is wrapped in a thick blanket of carbon dioxide that traps heat in an extreme runaway greenhouse effect. The result? Consistent, brutal, planet-wide heat, hotter than any other world in our solar system. If the heat doesn't get you, the pressure will. The atmospheric pressure on Venus's surface is about 92 times greater than what we experience on Earth. That's roughly equivalent to the water pressure you'd feel nearly a kilometer deep in Earth's oceans. Standing on Venus without protection wouldn't just be uncomfortable. The pressure alone would crush an unprotected human body almost instantly. Venus's clouds aren't made of water vapor like Earth's. They're made of sulfuric acid. And yes, it does rain on Venus, but the droplets are so corrosive and the surface so hot that the acid rain evaporates long before it ever reaches the ground. Scientists call this virga, rain that never lands. Even though Venus rotates incredibly slowly, its upper atmosphere moves at hurricane speeds, winds reaching up to 360 kilometers per hour, or about 224 miles per hour. This means the clouds circle the entire planet in just 4 to 5 Earth days, a phenomenon known as superrotation, and one of the biggest unsolved mysteries in planetary science. Venus is covered with over 1,600 major volcanoes, more than any other planet in our solar system. Recent radar data and reanalyzed old Magellan mission images suggest some of them may still be active today, making Venus one of the most geologically alive worlds we know of. Venus has almost no axial tilt, less than 3 degrees, compared to Earth's 23. That means there are no meaningful seasons on Venus. Every single day is the same suffocating, scorching nightmare everywhere on the planet, all year long. Unlike Earth with its one moon, or Saturn with its dazzling rings, Venus has neither. Not a single natural satellite and no ring system at all. Scientists believe Venus's proximity to the sun and its slow, unusual rotation made it very difficult for any moon to ever settle into a stable orbit around it. Despite everything happening on its surface, Venus is stunningly beautiful from a distance. It's the third brightest natural object in Earth's sky, after the sun and moon, brighter than any star or planet. That's because its thick clouds reflect about 70% of sunlight back into space. Ancient civilizations across the world worshipped it as the morning star, an evening star, not realizing they were staring at one of the most hostile places imaginable. The Soviet Union's Venera missions were the first and still among the only spacecraft to successfully land on Venus. But none of them lasted long. The Venera 13 lander holds the record, surviving just over 2 hours before the heat and pressure destroyed it. To this day, engineers are still designing new materials just to survive minutes on the Venusian surface. When viewed in ultraviolet light, Venus's clouds show strange, dark, wavy streaks that absorb far more sunlight than the surrounding atmosphere. Scientists still don't fully agree on what causes them. Some suspect unknown chemical compounds. A few have even speculated, cautiously, about microbial life surviving in Venus's temperate upper cloud layer, though there's no confirmed evidence of that yet. Unlike Earth, Venus has no significant internal magnetic field, likely because its core doesn't churn the way Earth's does. This leaves its atmosphere far more exposed to solar wind, which scientists believe has slowly stripped away much of Venus's original water over billions of years. Here's a fact many people get wrong. Mars often gets called our closest planetary neighbor, but recent orbital calculations show that Venus is actually the closest planet to Earth on average, over long stretches of time, even though Mars sometimes gets closer at its nearest approach. But now, here's the question that keeps planetary scientists up at night. What actually happened to Venus? Billions of years ago, evidence suggests Venus may have had liquid water oceans, a much cooler climate, and possibly even conditions suitable for life, not unlike early Earth. Some climate models suggest Venus could have stayed habitable for as long as 2 to 3 billion years. Then something went catastrophically wrong. Intense volcanic activity may have pumped massive amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Without a strong magnetic field to protect it, solar winds stripped away Venus's water molecule by molecule. The greenhouse effect spiraled out of control, oceans boiled away, and Venus transformed from a potentially Earth-like world into the crushing, acid-rained volcanic hell we see today. This is why scientists increasingly call Venus Earth's evil twin, and why some researchers argue that studying Venus isn't just about understanding another planet. It's about understanding our own future. Earth today is experiencing its own rising greenhouse gas levels. And while our planet is nowhere near Venus's extreme, Venus stands as living proof of what an uncontrolled greenhouse effect can ultimately do to a world. In other words, Venus may be showing us in real time a version of Earth's story that we never want to write. Venus proves that beauty and danger can exist in the very same place. A planet that shines brighter than anything else in our sky, while hiding one of the most hostile environments in the entire solar system. If this blew your mind, hit subscribe, drop a like, and let me know in the comments. Which Venus fact shocked you the most? See you in the next video.